Hey.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Six Pack. Even though there's only 5 of us at this stage,
we stole the other one.
We're a stubby short of a six pack. People have said that and worse things about us. Even though there's only 5 of us at this stage,
Exactly.
Who's got things in the background?
Hey, sorry. No.
Said that,
Shame.
Okay, who's got the stream in the background, guys? Who's got things in the background?
Hang on.
I'm getting about 4 different
What a
feeds.
professional.
Who's got the stream in the background?
That was me. It's
That's
gone.
how you. That's a sign of a true professional right now. Like that. You gotta show respect there.
I've got L plates on.
He's an audio professional.
Well, apparently, but not so sure.
It was creating a sound.
Well, the
Not
good news
this
is
time.
it gave me that little bit of extra time to get up, but I hadn't actually gotten up early because I'm not prepared. So
That's what she
that's all
said.
good. So, yeah. So anyway, I'll start again. Welcome to Friday Night Six Pack. I'm Chris. I'm the Atheist Pastor. We've got a lot of the usual suspects here tonight. So before I introduce everyone, I'm just going to say make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Oh, absolutely, very suspect, Jen, especially you. It's well, you are the star of the show, I think, especially as the night goes on and on and on. But,
Yeah, you only want me here for my drunken comments.
You're not going to be
Absolutely.
You're the
Otherwise-
talent. You're the
otherwise-
talent, Jen.
Yeah, it's not a talent.
You're the sizzle.
I don't know. No
So
gag
what we'll do-
reflex. That's pretty talented.
that's just ridiculously impressive.
See?
So I'll go around.
Talent.
That's quiet. All right, let's introduce everyone. So, Nacho, who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
Oh no. Well, I'm the not jail witness. I do not jail witnessy things. Well, that's who I am. What do? I do not jail. Yeah, I answered both of them. Fuck. All right. Well, what was the third question? I forgot it already.
I don't know, but I was going to ask you.
Why am I here?
So we'll go
Why am I
with that.
here?
Yeah, why
I
are you
don't know
here?
why the hell I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Who knows?
Anybody
I don't
know
know.
why they're
Like,
here?
so why
I
are
mean,
we here?
I did say
Jesus
that.
Christ.
Is it some cosmic answer to this all, or are we just mere specks of dust
I'm
on
going to
this
apologize
rock
to the road
floating through
gallery
space?
behind me.
What did you mean? Or did you mean
Yeah,
why
but-
are we here in this stream?
Yeah, it was
Well,
just a
$50.
throwaway line. Yeah.
Ah, right. I don't know why we're here.
Don't
in
say
this
that,
stream.
Sam.
I
Everyone
can't
else is
even
on the
remember
20,
what the
mate.
show's about, to be honest. Christmas. Oh, it's about Christmas, isn't it? That's why I got my hat on.
Yeah, Christmas.
Looking
Yeah.
sexy as I do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it's all-
That's why
all
I'm
there.
here. It's Christmas. That's my answer.
So is Miro going to be
That's-
wearing the Christmas version of the pants, or?
Should we be wearing the
that's for
Christmas
me to know
stocking?
and you to find out.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. We might find out later. I think she's going to be joining us at some point, so we'll see how that goes.
After
Jen,
she-
oh sorry, Nacho. What? Yeah. Nacho, what are you drinking tonight?
About beer.
Yeah.
I almost said something else that's in my hands, but a beer.
A beer. We'll go with that. We can use our imaginations, I'm sure. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
What's
Tired.
happening?
All day.
Tired? Tired? How's the week been?
About 6-hour drive, so
That's all right. That's like around the corner in Australia, especially
yeah,
your end of the
that's
world.
true. But yeah, but after only having 4 hours sleep last night, at least I wasn't the one driving. That's the good thing. I think I had a
That's
nap
definitely
in the car
positive.
at one point. I can't remember. Yeah, I've been told I did.
Oh, that's good. And what's happening on your channel this week? What exciting things have we seen? What do we got to look forward to?
What have you got to look forward to? I actually have no idea at the moment because I'm away. I've got a couple of ideas for stuff to do, but whether I'll actually get something else out before Christmas is questionable because I'll be pretty busy. So
I reckon you'll do it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say I might not get something out and end up doing something anyway.
And what's the drink of choice tonight, Jen?
Oh, Scotch. I've still got some of that beautiful Chivas Regal
Chivas?
left. So, Well, you might.
It's good. We're
Yeah,
slowly
I
seeing
might
it
have
go.
some of that left because Steve's been drinking it too. So. There wasn't much in the bottle.
Sam. Vagrant Sam, what is now? Very important question. Did you get to 50?
52, which was nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yay.
sensational.
Someone
Sexy number.
screenshotted it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I feel a little bit bad because I'm like asking for 50, and they're screenshotting. Well, it's 52. So what's going on here?
It's
Yeah,
not-
you
it's
got to, if
really
you're going to
deep to know
screenshot
what
it,
you
you
get
got to get it dead on. If you don't get it
Mm.
right on the money, then it's
Yeah.
not worth.
Yeah.
Just-
I mean, the
what are
number
you
of
doing?
times Mary's asked one of us to unsub from her so she can get the right number.
Dude, you know what I did? Like literally maybe at least one time, I'll grant you. She had been complaining about how nobody would unsub. And so I was like, okay, fine, Photoshop it is. And that's how she got one of her images. There you go. You got an exclusive from about Navadia's channel.
Digging up the
Wow,
you
dirt.
heard it
Twitter.
here
That
Twitter.
she's a liar. We already knew that because of Cheesecake.
Exactly. I'm trying not to make a
Oh,
big thing
you
about
said the
it
C
or
word.
anything, but
Mute button.
yeah.
No, it's just ongoing, this cheesecake thing. What's happening?
It's a very famous, very, very famous.
I only
cheesecake.
react to when other people bring something up that's related to it.
I reckon she'd eat the file, Notcha.
Yeah. I'm gonna get like 3 cheesecakes and eat them all and not let her have any. You know what she
Oh,
did
God,
to
that
try and be
needs to be a
like,
live
here, and like just the other day, she's like, instead of the, to make up for the cheesecake, here's all that fucking apple. It's not even an apple pie. Apple pies are delicious. Whatever the
a
fucking
blueberry,
pie it
isn't
was,
Is it like a blueberry?
something like that, blueberry or some shit.
That's
And I'm
not a
like,
pie. Cherry pie.
she
apple
didn't
pie,
like it.
pumpkin pie.
She didn't like it. That's why she ate the fucking cheesecake, and now she's offering it to me. See how this is going? Like, it's an abusive relationship, I swear.
Yeah.
You
Now,
love
Sorry,
Sam,
Pastor,
tell us
I
about
know
what's
that
happening on
C
your
word was off.
No.
My bad.
It's all right. Well, I think the C word's okay so long as it's after, I think, 10 o'clock. We're not quite there yet, but we can.
I was going to say, whose time? Your time? My time?
Hey, I won't.
Jen's time?
Yeah, I won't be there.
I
at
don't
that
know, all these different time zones.
Yeah.
You're gonna be waiting
We'll go with the real time, the New South Wales time, the
Nachos time,
correct
fair
time
enough.
zone.
That's
There
clearly
is
not
no real
right.
time. Remember, Australia's imaginary.
Well, that's all right. But you're not meant to tell anyone that. Now, Sam,
No,
what's
that's
going
our-
on your
yeah,
channel?
We're getting paid to
Tell
keep
us.
that secret.
I'm just gonna talk over this. So I, much like Jen, trying to find some time because it's been pretty hectic the last week. But I'm hoping to figure out something this weekend. I've got to be on a boat on a cruise tomorrow, but hopefully maybe tomorrow afternoon. I've got a little new toy I want to play with as well, but I don't know if it's quite there
Sounds
yet for
kinky.
doing any videos. So it's probably the right size, but yeah, it's not got the great functionality.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Can I
But
ask
yeah,
you where's
so-
your cruise?
Sounds like a lot of fun. And
Oh,
I'm just
it-
going to guess that you're drinking cider.
no. Oh, look, I had to be
Ooh.
Christmassy, right? So I've got some good old rum nog.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
look out. That's as
I mean,
Christmassy as it gets.
The eggnog's from a carton, but the rum is from a bottle, so it's okay.
Excellent. Now, Art,
Yes.
welcome. This is we had you in last week, but this is the first time we've got you live, so everyone can get an idea of what you look like, which is always good. Now that I'm jealous, that
Very
up
pretty.
there, but
Brad Pitt personified.
I don't think Brad Pitt's that good looking, but yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. So, Art, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, well, I do music videos, and look, it's stuff that's essentially what all of you guys talk about. You know, it's stuff to do with the skeptic community and the atheist community. They're the kind of topics that I cover. So, yeah, essentially that. Yeah, music videos.
Fantastic. And it's probably one of the worst kept secrets, I guess, in the Australian community, but you are ridiculously talented. So for anyone who hasn't seen what you do, where can they find your work?
Well, really just on the YouTube channel, I guess. I do have a website, artagainst.ignorance.com, but there's not much on that, and I need to update it. I've mainly focused on the YouTube channel, so really at the moment just there. And I'm trying to develop the label. So, yeah, hopefully putting out some songs next year and up on Spotify and that type of thing. So, yeah. Look, it's a work in progress, and it's really just at the early side of it at the moment.
No, excellent. We all start out somewhere, and I know a few of us are still in the process of starting. I think myself and Sam are still the new kids on the block. So new kids on the block,
Yeah,
on the block.
Yeah.
I haven't even had that much. I haven't even had that much to drink yet. So I'm a sip in. So Art, what are you drinking tonight now? I think it was red wine last week. So are you on the red this week?
I'm always on the red.
What year?
Oh,
is it?
excellent. Now, what do we got there? Hardy's.
Yeah, just a
Merlot, is it?
Where am I? Yeah, it's a Merlot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's my usual
Excellent.
drink of choice.
Dear, and Kitty's saying it's too early for drinks. 6 a.m. here. Well, it's 9:45 p.m. where I am. So
I don't know. If
we'll
you
have one
stayed
for
up
you,
all
Kitty.
night, 6 a.m. is not too early.
Hey, you're stealing my comment from the chat.
Oh, did I? I didn't know I was looking at the chat. Is that what you
Full on
said?
plagiarism.
Okay. Oh, shit.
That should be
If it's
timestamped,
not-
my friend.
if it's not cheesecakes, it's comments. There's always something getting stolen. Yeah.
I'll take that one back. That's all
No,
Sam.
that's all right. That's all right. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
So
Sorry
too
for
much
eating in front of
online.
everybody, but you're all just going to have to suffer with watching me eat a roast.
That's all right. It's too late here. So now, I guess just to keep it up, I'm on the Baileys tonight. I'm trying to keep with the Christmas theme, but it's not just any Baileys. As I was wandering through Dan Murphy's, I found salted caramel Baileys.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a little bit nice, very quietly.
Suck on my
So it goes-
chocolate salted balls.
You actually have the voice for that too.
Cool.
What do you think, Art? Could you sign him based on that alone?
Probably not.
I wouldn't sign me, man.
No, we need a
Have
bit
you seen
more.
the first song I did? Like,
Just auto
I
tune,
mean,
man.
it was pretty much that. Yeah, no, we used a lot of auto tune. It's still going to sound good.
It wasn't bad, but I need to hear a bit more. Send me a demo.
Yeah, and that was somebody like that actually has a label that produced that song. Like, that's the best they could do.
That's what they could get out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those who
I
have,
know.
make sure you throw the link up in the chat there. So yeah. Now
I'll see if I can find those two. I know where to find the artists.
too much online has just thrown a question up. Now I'm going to limit the politics tonight. I really, really am, because it tends to take over a little bit, and I know I'm in the minority. But what do we think of that Isles dude from the ACL? What's his real agenda? Sam, what do you think of Martin Isles from the ACL? I know you love him.
Oh, that face is just beautiful. You just want to kiss it, right? Like, it's just mwah. I can't help but feel like he's a Poe. Like, he's just too smug. And I know it's probably not true, but like, just the way the ACL present their videos and talk about, Planned Parenthood literally aborting babies that have been born so they can take their still beating heart and sell it on the black market. Like, I just can't take that seriously as someone holding that belief in good faith. So I can't get past it. He just likes the attention, and it's an easy audience to keep on side, if a limited one.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a dick, to be honest. I've had the misfortune of meeting
It's a
him
quicker
couple
way
of
of saying it.
And it's what you see is what you get with him. He is a complete toss bag. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on Martin Isles before we move on to something a lot more Christmassy?
I must say I'm interested in politics. I'm not too familiar with this person that you're talking about.
Oh, watch his YouTube videos sometime. You'll love him. Knowing what your politics are, you're going to love him.
Yeah,
He's like the face man of a Christian lobby group in Australia, like the Australian Christian lobby. It's kind of what's on the tin, and it's pretty like it's what is that ridiculous? Alex, he's basically Alex Jones, but from Australia.
Okay, all right. I know how much.
Yeah.
So that's
with a lot more
Infowars,
Jesus.
that's
that's
it.
quite frightening.
Less
Infowars.
gay frogs, more aborted babies.
Okay, so he's an Aussie version of that.
Yeah.
Infowars.
Yeah. We're probably going to start doing a couple of response videos to him, I think, at some point. One thing I am going to do with the channel, I guess, just to let everyone know, is I'm going to start doing a little bit more political content. Probably not on the live streams, but I guess just to put the other viewpoint out there, because I guess with the atheist movement, I think there's one side that gets a lot of attention, but there's a lot of people who are on the other side of politics in the atheist movement who probably want to know that there's a voice out there. So I'm going to see how it goes with that, maybe put a few things out, and we'll see what happens. But definitely at some point, I think there'll be some response videos to Mark Knowles from the ACL, because the shit that he puts out is just, it doesn't matter what side of politics you're on, it's complete crap.
Yeah.
So
It's not left or right. It's just ludicrous.
yeah, it is. Anyway, moving on. Christmas. Who here's doing Christmas?
Yes.
In what way?
Anyway, celebrating it, enjoying it.
I've got a stream happening on Wednesday, which will be our Christmas Day at 10 a.m. my time, the real time. And it's going to be the opener for what hopefully will be a 30-something hour marathon for Christmas, or like an apostate atheist Christmas special, which will go through like a butt ton of different content creators. Will roll on through different, channels. And we've done this last year, and it worked out an absolute treat. Pretty much anyone that joins in ends up getting a butt ton of new followers, because it just rolls on all the other viewers. And we're hoping to be able to make it continuous this year, just the same. So hopefully, like, we don't have a full lineup yet, but hopefully that's going to go really well, and everyone will come and join us. So that's,
well, you can probably throw me in for some portion of it, because I my kids are going away, I think, Christmas night, so I'm just going to be ready to chill out and relax, and I can't think of a better way. So, so Nico is going to be doing Christmas and eating all of the ham. Pigs will be extinct. I'll be doing the same thing. That's what Christmas is all about. So one thing, and I guess the reason I wanted to bring this up, my 9-year-old daughter was at school, and one of her friends made a comment to her, and I keep in mind it was kids, and what was said was, you can't celebrate Christmas because you don't believe in Jesus. And, she sort of came home. Yeah, she came home a little bit upset, and I thought, okay, well, that's kids. But the thing is, I'm also hearing that out there from, I guess, from Christians who are saying, well,
yes, from somewhere. That kid didn't make that up.
Yeah, it's, the general feeling seems to be that, well, if we can't really be against the religion and get the holiday or celebrate the day. And that's potentially, I guess I had somewhat of a view towards that when I was trapped in Christianity. I just thought it was something that we should discuss. Now, I did put a poll up on Twitter earlier today, asking the question, should Christians celebrate Christmas? Should atheists celebrate Christmas? And as it stands right now, we've had 124 votes, and it's at 94.4% atheists can have Christmas, which tells me that either atheists can have Christmas, or the people who follow me on Twitter are probably all atheists. And I need to drag some more Christians into my Twitter sphere, I guess. Flock. Yeah. It's you can do that. Actually, interesting story today, and I had to go to the doctor's just to get a script filled, and having a chat to the doctor, and we're talking about what I'm doing at university and things like that, and religion came up as a part of it. And I mentioned that I was an atheist, and anyway, it was a 1-hour doctor's appointment to get a script filled, where we spoke a lot about Jesus, because he told me I really need to read A Case for Christ, and gave me a stack of books I should read. I said, I've gone, Lee Strobel. I said, yeah. But it was an interesting conversation. It was he was trying to push it, but it was. And the funny thing is, funny thing is, oh no, well he kept me there. He was trying to save me. But the thing is, I see these things like,
where our healthcare is, that we can spend an hour talking to Jesus for a doctor, and you've probably got to spend what, $1,000 to see a doctor in America.
Yeah.
Well, and the best thing, it was
That's a
bulk,
sad
so
thing,
it cost me
isn't it?
nothing.
Yeah, it's bad over.
Yeah.
I probably should.
The American healthcare system is rubbish.
It's a mess.
So how is
It's an atrocious thing.
That's why Bernie Sanders has to get in. Talking politics.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, mate. Seriously. And we need more politicians like that in Australia.
I mean,
Actually,
look, there are others that could be okay as well, but it's like just to bring it into fucking check a little bit.
yeah, that's right.
That was my bad. That one. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got bad news for everyone, and this isn't a political viewpoint, but I can tell you who'll win the presidential election, because they've basically the Democrats handed it to him this week. That whole the whole impeachment thing, all it's done is it's just going to galvanise his followers right behind him.
He's going to get more popularity out of it. Yeah.
There's 4 more years of Trump. I would put money on that, but
I'm staying
anyway.
positive with it. Look, if you watch some of the more lefty channels, like Secular Talk and the Humanist Report, I don't know if anybody watches those kind of channels.
Yeah.
But they stay very positive, and that about Bernie Sanders. They're much more honest and give a view with more information. It's like it's kind of real news reporting to me, those channels. So if you check those guys out, you'll find that they're very. Bernie Sanders is surging big time over there.
I will make a bet with you right now.
With young people,
It will be Elizabeth Warren. I'll make that bet with you right now.
dropping those. She's dropping it.
Yeah, I can tell you now, the Democrats will push to have a female candidate, because that's probably the only way they view that they've got a chance of beating Trump. But
Potentially so, mate. Yeah, I
Which
can't
is so
argue with
good.
that. I stay
mean,
positive.
they do need-
I hope he gets in. I think he's a chance. I'll just say that. I think he's a chance.
They need like that diversity, and but they're doing it just for the image of it isn't going to work.
Yeah, exactly. The whole getting a woman in just because she's a woman is an image thing, and it's identity politics, and it's silly.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Because even the liberals, that's not what they go for. They don't go for that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Hillary. You see straight through it.
That's right.
But anyway, we go on to
Bernie's got the
politics.
policies. Listen to Bernie. He's
Turn
got all
off.
the policies. But anyway.
Dear. So as I was saying, I will be doing some conservative politics on my channel, just to give the other side as well. But I'll avoid it tonight, because I don't think this is a crowd. Plus, we're here to talk about Christmas.
Exactly.
So we'll see. So obviously, there's a misconception in the Christian community where they've got this view that Christmas is their holiday. It's always been their holiday. But it's definitely not. It's Christmas was originally, part of the Solstice Festival. So it's the sorry, I'm getting the hiccups.
Saturnalia.
No, Pastor, I apologize for my giggling. You just sound like me, like 10 years ago.
Oh, do I?
Because this is
that a
pretty
good
much
thing or a
what I
bad
would
thing?
be saying. It's kind of both, because this is what I'd be saying to any other Christian to try and witness to them. Did you know this about Christmas? That it's actually, you give them the history and how it's not actually Christian, and Jesus' birth, all those lovely details. It's exactly the lines of a JW. So like as you started, I'm just like, oh my god.
So what do you
It's true
think? Maybe
that
I should
it's
join the
not wrong.
JWs, or
Actually, yeah, because
No.
JW's going to celebrate Christmas.
The
And that's
freaky
actually
thing is
interesting.
it's
So-
not
Because
wrong.
they're schools,
What- what-
they
They
don't
are
celebrate
actually they are right in a lot of their things that they say.
There was no
Because it's the
sense
same things an atheist will say. And this is why a lot of the things that I find is amazing, that the sort of conversations that are on this side of the conversation are much the same on the other side.
So it's interesting you bring that up.
Who the
So
fuck is that?
from a JW point of view, what would the JWs don't celebrate Christmas, but what are your thoughts on it? I mean, I guess you've come from the JWs, you've come out of that and into atheism, so Christmas is now okay for you, but it's not something would have ever really celebrated, is it? Oh, do we have Notcha there?
Nacho.
No, we've lost Notcha.
Nacho. We can't. His animation's still working.
Who is Notcha?
Who is Notcha? Notcha doesn't exist. Miro's disconnected the computer. She wants him. All right, so
She wants his cheesecake.
Yeah, she's come for the cheesecake. It's all over. So, Jen, let's I guess you've got a Uniting Church background.
I do.
What was Christmas like for you, and what is Christmas like for you now?
Yeah, I don't know that my Christmas has changed all that much, apart from the fact that I don't go to church on Christmas. Having said that, I have recently, in the last few years, where I went to church on Christmas because I took my mum to a Christmas Day service. So I have actually done it. I mean, I don't mind going into at least the Uniting Church. You know, I'll take my mum if she wants to go and stuff like that. So it's fine. But yeah, it's mostly about family for us. Just getting all the family together and having a good meal and good talk, and a bit of cheer. Although I won't say it's always cheery, because as you know, it's like when families get together.
It's fun.
It's not just the good stuff that comes out; it's the bad stuff. And it's not always great.
Normally after a few drinks in there, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Sam? What are you thinking for Christmas this year? What was Christmas like for you before, when you were in the Pentecostal world? And what about now?
So back in the day when I was a teenager, it was more about, so I grew up with my grandmother, and she was a nurse, or she worked in aged care when I was a little bit older as well. And so often she would be working, and I was kind of adopted into some of the church families to join them for Christmas. So that was probably a big reason why I ended up being quite a fervent believer, because I was sort of adopted into some groups and made a part of that. And being evangelical, it was a chance to proselytize. It was Jesus is the reason for the season. It was a chance to get your friends and family to church, and the preacher would do his best to get them to come to the altar and give their lives to God and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of the performance time for the church, I guess. And not like Stations of the Cross type performance, like Isn't That Cute with the kids? It was like, here's a chance to really get in and win souls for Jesus. Don't do that so much these days. A little bit less on that. Weighing up the chances of some family members watching this, because Christmas, I will catch up with family, but it's kind of an obligation, and I kind of prefer to use the time to relax and not do too much. So I've sort of got a very stern eye on my calendar and trying to make sure not too many days get filled up with stuff. So, but Christmas Day will be lunch, pool, barbecue, pavlova, cheesecake pavlova, which I'm disappointed about because I would have preferred normal pavlova, but hey.
Don't mention the cheesecake.
Notcha's not here, it's fine.
Oh, that's fine then. That's okay.
Yeah, and it's a cheesecake pavlova. So I do love pavlova. Pavlova pavlova for Christmas has been a constant for me, I think, forever. So
yeah, agreed.
As much as I complain about having a cheesecake topping, I'll still take it. And it's a time of the year to relax. It's kind of like the weekend of the year, which I think is really nice. So looking forward to it. Today's my first day. I finished work. I don't go back to work until next decade. So
excellent. We're about to hit the roaring 20s, aren't we?
Yeah,
so it'd be nice to have a decade we can actually name. I mean, after we've had the noughties and the tenties. So I miss the good old. At least the 90s and the 80s, we knew what they were.
Wingtip shoes and those really cool zoot suits, and it's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You had a zoot suit?
No, but we're coming into the 20s, right? So everything comes back. It's cyclical, right? So every 100 years it repeats. I might have my dates wrong, but I'm trying to make a joke.
I hope not. Some stuff 100 years ago would not be.
But yes, so Christmas, cultural holiday, chance to relax, chance to go to the beach, should be good.
And what about yourself, Art? What are the plans? Are you singing at a church somewhere, I assume, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've got a line of gigs set up in various churches around Australia, so that should be great. Just family, same as Jan. It's a family thing. I suppose for me, my kids are all grown up now, but for me, it's kind of really largely about them too. You know, just excitement on their faces with the whole thing and the whole myth of Santa and whatever else. You know, yeah, it's really about that. It is. It's family, and it's for everybody. Christians don't own it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the theme and I guess what we've what's come up with everyone is it's about family. It's very much a family and a cultural holiday for all of us. I know that you know I take the family out for lunch every Christmas. We've got a nice little local restaurant that we go to, and we just say to all the extended family, everyone's welcome and can come along. But yeah, it's for us. It's just about spending time together and not having to worry about work or study or anything like that. It's a time we can all be together. So I think that's really the reason for the season. Now, one thing I'm noticing a lot, and probably more so this year than in previous years, and I don't know if it's because I'm more focused on atheism now than I have been previously, I'm noticing a lot more Jesus everywhere. What about you guys? What are you guys noticing? Are you seeing a lot more Jesus or less
I actually
Jesus?
haven't seen a lot of Christmas stuff this year. Like
Mhm.
the
Yeah, only
majority of it
COVID.
is getting up at the train station and seeing a Salvation Army band playing Christmas carols.
Yeah,
That's about it.
a lot of thingy shakers looking for charity donations and
Sugars.
a few Santas in shopping centres and stuff like that. But I don't know that I've really seen a lot of Jesus-y stuff. I did get accosted by a Jehovah Witness the other day, but hey,
They're good at that.
they are.
One of my colleagues actually noted that it didn't seem very Australian-like. Christmas-like in Australia. Like he's from UK, so for him over there, Christmas is very not religious necessarily, but very Christmassy with their markets and the snow and it just goes full out in like London area. But yeah, around us, it hasn't been super obvious. One of the units,
Yeah.
a wreath in front of it, that's about it.
I've noticed in a lot of the shopping centres near where I am, we're getting a lot of nativity displays. So I don't know if that's just, I've been seeing, and usually I don't see them, but this year I'm definitely seeing nativity displays. I think there's a lot more, I guess the Christian community seems to be a lot bolder about talking about Christmas and their reasons for it. And I'm also noticing online there's a lot of people talking about the war on Christmas. So how are we all going in fighting the war on Christmas this year?
Buying Starbucks.
Yeah, what war on Christmas? I mean,
Apparently there's a big war on Christmas.
yeah, but who wants
Coffee
to stop
cups that don't say Merry Christmas.
Well, I mean,
That's what war on Christmas is.
personally, I find Christmas a chore, but that's just me personally. I know as far as kids go, and it's still nice to meet catch up with the family. Mostly nice to catch up with the family and that. So it's not all that bad. So yeah, as long as we can have it secular, who cares if there's a Christmas?
Mhm.
It does shit me off though how long we have to listen to Christmas carols and the fact that there's already hot cross buns in the frickin' stores before Christmas is even.
Have you
happened.
seen hot cross buns already?
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, we've got them all year round. Yeah, they never go.
Really? No,
Yeah,
you're
the
hard
stores
core.
are,
Yep.
Woolworths in a couple of the states do them all year round.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
But hey,
Seasonal food.
if people didn't buy them, they wouldn't sell them.
Yeah, I don't buy them. They're freaking revolting.
So
I
the
don't
war
mind
on
them,
Christmas, that's really directed at atheists, isn't it? I mean,
Sorry, I missed that.
The hot cross buns. No, hang on.
the war on Christmas being directed at atheists. I think it's more. It's
am I loud
Christian-
enough? By
Yeah, I can hear all right.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's more like they're just trying to grab back at. They've got the feeling that they're losing the cultural advantage.
Right.
It-
So
I
it
think
could
the
be
default
against other
to-
religions as well. Yeah.
yeah, like the idea that
Or all
people that,
inclusive of other religions and that type of thing, to include them into Christmas carols and goings on around Christmas. Yeah, okay,
you know, businesses that don't want to default to assuming the person that they're referring to as Christian and saying Merry Christmas,
Yeah.
saying Happy Holidays. That's an attack on Christianity. No, that's just restoring you to equality with everyone else.
Exactly. Equality. Yeah.
Yeah, funnily enough, my young bloke, he's been watching a TV show where they've been talking about Hanukkah, and he's been running around going, everything's Hanukkah. It's driving us up the wall, actually, but everything's Hanukkah this, Hanukkah that, because it's on his
Has he
favourite show.
started singing the dreidel song?
I was going to say, get him a dreidel.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Dreidel.
Isn't that a South Park song? Or is that based on something?
I don't know.
Probably both.
I only heard it in South
A bit
Park.
of both. South Park
I'm
tends
not
to
sure.
use a bit of fat mixed in with a whole heap of bullshit.
Incidentally, did you guys see the South Park Christmas special this year?
Not yet, no.
No.
I haven't seen the latest episodes.
Oh, it's good they go back to Tegrity Farms. Dear. So what do we got? We got Dave. His partner screamed, and I'm with her on that at Christmas, just being a chore. So, yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It's look, it's a good day, but it can be a bit of a chore. That's why I guess for my family, we just go out for lunch to a restaurant because we don't want to have people over, clean up, do all that. Although it is stressful buying presents. What have we got? We've got. Christmas is only as much of a chore as you let it be. I skip most of the decorations, just join friends. Yep, I think that's a pretty good thing there, Neko. So
That's how I go as well. Nico.
now I'll apologise if I'm kind of ducking in and out here because we've just got something going on in the background. I'm just so I might just sort of pass over to you for a second if you want, Sam. If you want to talk about Christmas.
Christmas.
And the origins of Christmas. So what do you know about the origins of Christmas?
See, this is where it gets funny, where it's hard to separate the schoolyard claims from what's actually true. And I know Jen's mentioned it. The Saturnalia tends to be considered the origin, at least before Christianity. Whether there's something before that, I don't know. These things tend to evolve from one thing to the other. One of the interesting things that I did hear when I was a Christian from someone that was, I can't remember if they were Pentecostal or not. I know they weren't JW or anything, so they were someone that did celebrate Christmas, but they didn't put Christmas tree presents under the tree because they were afraid that you had to bow before the tree to place the present beneath it, and it was a form of worship. And that has always stuck with me as an interesting Christian response to the pagan sort of rituals that come along with it. Yeah, I don't know. Has anyone heard anything about that? Like the whole tree being, like, isn't the tree meant to be some mythical character that died and the tree sprung up overnight or something? Or
No, so the tree's actually it represents fertility. So people used to have the tree decorated, and the thought behind it was it would that I guess all the women would be very fertile and produce lots
I remember
of
hearing that part.
male
Like,
heirs. And,
every tree, it's always growing, and so it's a signal of fertility and all that sort of stuff. But I should do some research before these shows sometimes.
No,
Like I said, you hear the schoolyard
where's
things.
where's the fun in that?
Let's talk shit.
That
That was always interesting to me. So. Particularly from a type of Christianity where like Pokemon's bad because it's talks about magic and psychic powers and it's evil, and yet the Christian adoption of pagan rituals, it always struck me as really weird. Like, why is this one okay but that one's not? It's like if you made a holiday around Harry Potter and going, okay, this is now how we're going to celebrate Christ because he was the one who defeated he who shall not be named. You know what I mean, though? It's like it's just co-opting something and putting in your own story to, it's interesting.
And I think that's a lot of the, I guess, all the Hell's Bells kind of stuff we were talking about last week where, there's a lot of Christian groups that, everything's of the devil if it's not of Jesus sort of thing. It's rock and roll music. Well, that's of the devil, it's all that kind of stuff. It's, and I think that whole war and Christmas kind of, there's a lot of similarities there where it's that whole persecution, everyone's against us and the devil's out to get us sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Art?
Well, I mean, that's just kind of rubbish, isn't it, really? What could you say about it? The devil's out to get you, like, no. Yeah, it's just silly. I think that's all I can really say about it.
Well, as someone who's into rock and roll music, I mean,
Yeah.
you've never conversed with the devil or anything like that. There's none of that happening, or
No,
Actually-
I can honestly say that hasn't happened. As a person that plays music and does all that, and and is an atheist, has strong views about that. I've never actually had religion in my life, so it's not
Okay,
something.
wow.
Yeah, it's not something that affects me at all. I just look at it and really just brush it aside. For me, it was more, I suppose, a bit of a spiritual journey that I went through, but religion was never a part of it. So, like, even as a teenager, I pretty much figured out that religion was just rubbish because it was so hypocritical and contradictory. I mean, I could see it as a young guy. I just thought, this is dumb. And I didn't have parents that pushed that upon me. So whatever my thoughts were, yep, that's fine, acceptable. They weren't particularly religious. So, it's just never been a part of my life. So, when I hear
So,
things like that, it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Sam, what are you doing with that microphone there? We saw the mouth go on it. The head went down.
Sorry, I was moving it so my beard wouldn't rustle against it while I was trying to read something.
Fair enough. We'll give you that one. So Art, so having not grown up with, I guess, with religion, I guess Christmas has probably been, a constant as to how it's been celebrated for you. Yeah,
Just being a fun family thing, and God or Jesus or whatever was never really brought into it, and just not important at all. It's just a gathering and a good time, really. You don't need it. You don't need Jesus and everything in there for it. For me, is just unnecessary. And I wasn't brought up with it, so yeah, that's all it is for me.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had my dog looking very sadly at the door, trying to get out, and I thought I'd better let him out there. So all fun.
I was gonna go for
So,
a week.
oh yeah. So probably in about 2 seconds he'll start clawing at the door to get back in.
He'll be off again.
So if I have to jump up again, that's what's going on. Now, another thing I want to bring up. So, as I guess a decision that myself and my wife we made when it came to our kids was we want to be honest with them about religion and Jesus and let them know that no, we don't believe, and obviously it's encourage them to look into it themselves, and they're pretty cluey, so we will assume they'll come to the same conclusion at some point. But we made a big point of saying we never want to lie to you, which brings up, I guess, the next part of Christmas, which is Santa Claus. So I saw an interesting tweet go up this week, I think, from Mr. Atheist, who Mr. Atheist did another video today that I need to have a chat to him about, because there's a lot of things in it that I disagreed with, and a lot of things that were.
You would, but he's right.
No, he was wrong on a lot of things.
A little bit more hyperbolic.
I actually haven't watched it yet, so I will reserve judgment.
Yeah, have a see what you think. Like, I don't think he's wrong. I just think he's overstated the case.
He tends to do that with politics. Yeah. But
anyway,
that's
who was his
side point,
who did he have on the phone to check that script? That's what I want to know. Where was Navadia? He needs to be in contact with our representative in that atheist community. Anyway,
she's like the Australian ambassador, isn't she?
Well, she's in with Shannon Q. Shannon Q's in with Mr. Atheist. There's a link there that could have been made. Anyway.
There we
It's
go.
a hierarchy. It kind of climbs up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does, and I can tell you, it's I'm getting a sore neck looking up from the bottom here, but we'll slowly get there.
Do you
We'll
think
climb.
you've got something to offer?
We'll get there. We'll get there. So so Santa Claus. So
Santa Claus.
what do we all think about Santa Claus? And because I guess we all want to be honest with kids, and we do tell them that Jesus is imaginary. So what do we tell kids about Santa Claus, and what is fair to tell kids about Santa Claus? And obviously I'm talking about our own kids, or it's kids.
Hypothetical kids.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about that. Did anyone see that douchebag pastor who went around to a shopping mall telling kids that Santa wasn't real and it's Santa's village? Like, did you guys see that?
Yes. Yes, I did see that.
What,
Ridiculous.
what a wanker! Sorry,
No,
what a
it
wanker!
sounds pretty pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who was
so
that?
it's. I'll have to find. I'll see if I can find the clip actually. But I guess while I'm looking for that, what do you guys think of Santa? I might go the other way this time. So, Art, what are your thoughts on Santa? I guess having raised your kids, I would assume without religion.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm outing you for having kids here. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, no, I
what's your view on that?
I did bring my kids up without religion, but without forcing anything upon them either way. Let them know my thoughts on it. So they made up their own minds. And the same deal with Santa Claus. I guess I kind of played along with that with them as kids because it's kind of fun. I have great memories of believing in Santa. You know, and as Richard Dawkins says, kids will grow out of Santa on their own. You know, but people don't grow out of Jesus. If you're religious, you believe in Jesus all the way through. But kids can grow out of Santa.
The indoctrination. I mean, if we didn't
absolutely,
if we weren't indoctrinated in Jesus, they'd actually probably think Jesus wasn't real sooner than.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus doesn't leave them frickin' presents.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, of course, kids are indoctrinated with Jesus. With Santa, it's kind of a little bit of fun, and all parents know that Santa's not real, so they don't enforce that upon their kids. They just kind of go along with it just for the fun of it. And look, there's a point where you start to think, okay, I should probably start to mention my kids, Santa's kind of not real, but you know what? They figure it out for themselves, and they talk to their friends at school or whatever. And when you do actually finally come up and say, you know what, kids, Santa's kind of not real. I say, well, yeah, Dad, I figured that out. Pretty much knew that. So it's not an issue, They'll sort it out for themselves. Jesus is a much bigger issue. Santa's fun.
I probably should just say this video has been marked for no kids, but for any kids who are listening, don't listen to us silly adults. Santa is very real. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sam, what are your thoughts, mate?
Santa is very real. He crawls down the chimney at the late of night. He sneaks into your room and he steals all your presents.
He leaves a basket of fish and bread.
So what are your thoughts on Santa, Sam?
So not having any kids, I'm very hesitant in saying, well, this is how you should treat kids in terms of Santa and stuff. I will say my default response would be, well, there's no point lying to them about it, but at the same time, it is fun. It is enjoyable. It's something that, culturally, most kids participate in the idea that Santa Claus is real. And Art, as you said, they grow out of it because it doesn't have the built-in techniques to keep people in. There's no fear of, hey, you're going to go to hell. There's no, hey, if you start questioning this, then that's Satan attacking you. Like, there's no equivalent to that in the Santa Claus mythology. And so you add on to that.
There's no fear involved.
Yeah. Well, fear of not getting presents, but
exactly. But hell's a bit more frightening than not getting presents.
Your nice list.
And on top of all that, culturally, we have a very thin veneer on the deception of Santa Claus. Like, you think of all the Christmas specials and Christmas movies, there's always the dad dressing up as Santa and trying to sneak down the chimney, and hilarity ensues. And it's pretty clearly telegraphing, I think, particularly when kids are getting older, that, well, if that's Homer Simpson who's dressed as Santa Claus leaving presents, then who is Santa really?
They start to question.
They start putting it together. So as a societal construct, it's
that's right. Plus, they go to every shopping center and there's a Santa at every shopping center. So they add it up in their own minds. And
so I think I've mellowed out. I originally saw that tweet, not treat.
There is an interesting point that just got made up, and that's the fear of you're not going to get your presents if you're not good. I'm going to draw a parallel there because religion does the same thing. It does exactly the same thing. If you're not good, then you're not going to get to go to heaven. You're going to be punished and go to hell. And with Santa, it's, well, if you're not good, you're not going to get the presents. It's, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. So I think there's an interesting parallel to be drawn there, and certainly something I'm probably going to give a lot more thought to. Jen, what do you think? Now, don't forget to hit the unmute button, Jen.
I'm only muting because it's noisy here. I don't see any harm in it. It's like ultimately it's something that kids grow out of. If you do it the right way, it's just harmless fun for them whilst they're young. And yeah, it's that bit of innocence when you're a child and wonder at the world. So
yeah, and it's so joyful when you remember back to what you were like yourself when you were a child and believing that it was just fun. There was nothing negative about
all those things, writing the letter to Santa and putting out the milk and cookies.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's so religious in its ritual.
Yeah,
but it's something that you can grow out of because it's not enforced on you, especially as the kids get older. Parents start to drop hints and it changes, and then eventually you go, no. But most kids will cook it for a couple of years.
That's right, yeah.
Thanks for that, Kitty.
Myth continues, the Santa myth just dissolves naturally.
So what we did with our kids, now it was a bit of an interesting situation for us because it was about probably 12 to 18 months ago that I guess I'll say we comfortably came out as atheists and had the conversation with the kids. And my daughter had sort of been in scripture class and we were really starting to get uncomfortable with it. And so we've pulled her out of that and we had that conversation with her. And it was sort of as Christmas was approaching, and one thing we promised her was we wouldn't lie to her. And then it was as Santa was coming up. So we did kind of drop the double bombshell on her, and I do regret the way we handled it. I really do, because we were learning at the time. But we managed to turn it into a positive where she got to be part of the Secret Santa Club, and she helps us now. So, but the attitude we've taken, because I've got two younger ones, we've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the attitude we've taken with them is we're not going to tell them that Santa is real, but we're also not going to say that Santa's not real. We're just not going to, if they ask us, then we'll be honest with them. But we're never going to tell them Santa's real. So all the presents this year, so there's going to be no Santa presents. They're all going to be from mum and dad. And part of the reason for that too is because it's the area we live in. Not so much the area, but the school that my kids go to, there's a big divide between, I guess, the kids who are doing okay and the kids who probably come from not so well-to-do families. And one thing that will tend to happen is some of these kids from the whose parents probably don't have I guess this as good a financial means as others, they don't get as many presents from Santa. And I think when they're at that young age, I think that's a hard thing for kids to comprehend. Well, hang on, little Billy up the road's is a bastard of a kid, but he got an Xbox and I got next to nothing. So that was part of our thinking behind it too. So it's always always presents from mum and dad. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a video. It's I've managed to find I actually haven't seen this, but this is the pastor who goes around telling, I know, that it's a different kind of pastor to me.
It's cringy. It is. Oh my God.
All right. Well, we'll put it on and then we'll have a few drinks and put as much shit on this douchebag as we can. All right. Not that I'm going to be biased to start with, but this guy is a douchebag and I haven't even seen it.
Well, he's a dickhead already. Shit, but I mean, seriously, he sounds like an idiot.
So here we go. Crazy pastor in Texas. Here we go.
No audio.
He already looks a bit mad, even without hearing him.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. You guys can't hear him?
No sound.
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm an idiot who didn't hit the share sound. You know what? I do this every time, don't I? I do. It's the level of professionalism you're getting with me. And poor Sam's just come back, and he's probably missed the fact that.
Oh no, I can hear everything. I've got wireless headphones, so I know you fucked up.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, messed up.
No language now.
Sorry.
All right.
5-year-olds watching. What's the language?
No, look. So long as no one says cheesecake, we're all good.
That's all right.
None of the offending parties are here, so we can talk about cheesecake.
If you say it 3 times in a row, Mero appears.
Okay, on the off chance anyone who's listening can draw, whenever I hear this cheesecake argument, I just think like, you know, when you draw those really sort of sexy pinup, like it's cheesecake art, like when you take a character and you cheesecake them, someone needs to cheesecake like Nacha and Mera. I think that would be hilarious. Anyway,
You know what? I think we can make that happen.
I can't, but
I
maybe
think-
someone else can. So,
I think I know what we're getting them for Christmas now.
oh god, I still
All
want
right.
to do an episode on their cheesecake war.
Oh no, I think we have to do. I think we have to do a. We're going to
That
dig
trial.
deep into the great. Well, I think we should do that, but I think we should do an investigative report into the great cheesecake conflict of 2019.
I've got an idea, but I don't want to commit to anything until I figure out how difficult it is to execute, because it'll take a bit of video editing. So we'll see how we go.
All right, we'll have a chat about it. All right, here we go with crazy pastor in Texas.
Oh god, this is gonna make me sad
Hi,
again.
it's Pastor Dave Grisham here for Last Frontier Evangelism.
Look how
and
happy he looks.
today we're at the mall in Amarillo, Texas.
That's the love of Jesus.
And we're going.
He shouldn't be going that
to
close with
children here today the
teeth like that.
truth
But
that
anyway,
there is no Santa Claus.
And he also
and
should
that
be
it's-
filming down,
Christmas
not
is
up.
about Jesus
You see those
Christ.
chins?
Jesus died on the cross to pay for their sins.
And I'm no better,
Jesus
but I know
was
to
born
film
in a
down.
manger 2016 years ago.
oh,
Some
you're a
personal
lot better than
Here we
him.
go. We're going to tell them the
Well,
truth.
hang on, let's go higher. More flattering.
Folks, my name is Pastor David. Kids, I wanted to tell you today that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Santa Claus does not exist. The Christmas season is about Jesus. Jesus was born 2016 years ago. He was born in a manger in a small town called Bethlehem. And that's the truth about Christmas. The man you're going to see today is just a man in a suit dressed up like Santa, but Santa does not exist.
Isn't the irony
Hang on.
tasty? Like, can't you taste how delicious it is that he's telling
I
them
see
about
the
how
same
Santa is imaginary?
Yeah.
I think just as I paused it, then I think someone was about to yell abuse at him. So I might just. That was
If you
about all I
skip
could handle.
about
But
if you skip about
Pastor
60
Chris,
to 70% through, there will be a bit of a not a conflict, but there'll be someone trying to call them out. If you want to skip to
He's
sort of
Pastor Chris.
60, 70%.
all right, so we'll get to about. We'll pick it up from about here, and we'll see what happens.
Santa, it is not your place to lie to your children.
Shut up.
Tell them the truth
Shut
about
up.
Jesus
There he is.
Christ.
Stop. Hey.
Tell
stop.
them the truth
Stop.
about what Christmas is
Stop.
all about.
Stop.
That it's about Jesus
Stop.
and it's not about
See how
Santa
reasonable
Claus.
Claus being?
It's
There
not
is
about
no
you
Santa
coming over here
Claus.
preaching what-
There is no Santa Claus. It's about Jesus. Tell them the truth.
Go. Yes, we do tell them the truth. Now go on.
Sir, don't put your hands on
Then
me.
go on. Quit
Put
talking.
your
as
hand-
much.
I'd knock
You
him out.
understand me?
Keep your
Stop.
hands to yourself.
I got my kids over there. We don't need you coming over here blabbing whatever the hell you blabbing.
I'm
So
telling
go
them the
on.
truth that there
Go.
is no Santa
Now
Claus.
go.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. You need to keep your hands to yourself, sir, and don't put your hands on people. That's
Then don't
assault.
come over here talking your mess.
And don't come over here and tell your children the truth that there is no Santa Claus.
That's not your decision for me to tell my kids what's the truth and what's not.
The truth is there is no Santa Claus.
Okay.
There is no Santa, and
That's
it's
fine. And
Christmas
the
is
parents-
about Jesus.
And the parents are all right with that.
The parents are all right with lying to their kids.
Yeah. Not your decision to make.
That's a sin. It's a sin in the eyes of God.
What you're
Kids,
doing
there is no
a sin.
Santa.
There is a
Santa's not
Santa.
real.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
What a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah,
As
Like-
Sam said, the irony is just so blatantly in your face that it's laughable. You know, I mean, how hilarious in a very, very sad way. Jesus is obviously real. Santa's not, but Jesus most
I
definitely
wish
is.
I'd seen it last year. I might have got him nominated for Dumb Fuck of the Year.
Well, and here's what's really, I guess,
Big deal this
indicative.
year.
Well, what's indicative of like the not all Christians obviously, but some Christians who are like, you know, oh, all our rights are being taken away. Here we have a really strong example of where some of them want to take it to the point that those parents didn't have the right in his eyes to raise their children believing in Santa Claus. And so he was very specifically taking away parental rights from people to raise their children in a specific way.
Authoritarian.
How would he
Yeah.
feel if a bunch of atheists walked into his congregation and said, "There is no Jesus. It's all made up."
Jesus isn't real.
Exactly.
He never existed.
Which is the reason that I've been really laughing at religion and not taking any notice of it since I was a teenager, is exactly because of things like that. So I could figure out for myself that someone like that's just full of shit, basically. That's all I can say about that, really.
That's exactly right.
Uh,
It's
full of
not-
Yeah, I think it, yeah.
He's
I
been-
think it's ironic that he's.
down on his knees and praising Jesus too much. Praise Jesus.
Too much communion wine.
Oh dear.
Although he probably
Way
comes
too
from
much.
fucking
I
grape
don't
juice.
think he was drinking communion wine.
Now, one thing I just want to point out, and something I'm very, very happy about. I noticed that you had a drink there, Jen.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent.
This is still my first one.
That's okay. Well, you hadn't started before, so I just had to make sure you're with us. So
I had to wait
now
till I had
I'm obviously missing what's going on in the chat, but what are you doing, Sam? You're upsetting people.
I'm having troubles with my computer at the moment.
Oh dear. All fun and games. So definitely, look, the consensus is obviously Christmas doesn't belong to the Christians. It's for all of us. It's a family day. It's a cultural event. It's got nothing to do with it's got something to do with Jesus, I guess, but not really.
Well, they made it something to do with them.
Yeah. It's I guess the word Christmas, but I guess from a cultural point of view.
Yeah.
But so who's going to church on Wednesday?
No.
No.
Yeah, I've got a gig at church next
Oh,
Wednesday.
I'm sure you do.
Not.
I've got a fairly large evangelical church that's not too far from me, and they get a little bit too excited sometimes with all this stuff. They're really sort of amping up the Christmas and getting ready to really make sure that they get all those extra donations. It's a good one for them because they'll get the donations on Sunday, then they'll get the donations on Wednesday, and then they get to get people again on Sunday. So it's a great week to be a Pentecostal church.
10% is 10%. It's not 10% per day. It's 10% my annual income. So they don't get more just for having more church services.
Oh, you never had love offerings.
Oh, yeah, there's those, but,
Yeah, there's going to be love offerings. There'll be something they'll be trying to push and something they'll be trying to raise money for, a new staircase for, at the pastor's house or something like that. So there's lots of different things.
Something you'd see at a strip dance club.
Yeah, well, all fun.
Can I
Now,
ask you, Chris, how long
Those tenors in
you have been an
Jesus'
atheist?
history.
sorry, I've had a few things there. Sorry, Art, what was that?
I just wanted to ask you how long you've been an atheist.
I've been out as an atheist for about 18 months. It's been a journey, probably over a few years though. It's I was studying theology and ministry, and that was probably the first step away. Just
Your
reading
kids are
the Bible.
3
So
years,
9, 5, and 3.
9, 5, and 3. So they had been brought up with a religion. If you've only been out for like 18 months,
The oldest one, yes. But
maybe
the
not.
other two wouldn't even know what a
You've had
Jesus
your
is.
doubts
So.
before coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't push it. I guess it's, part of it was, I hadn't said anything to my wife. She hadn't said anything to me as well. So, but we were both at the same point. And I guess it was a good lesson in communication there because one night, a few drinks, and we had a fairly honest chat, and turns out we're in the same place. And, I was worried that by coming out as an atheist, what's that going to do to, we met in the church. So, and I think she sort of had a similar feeling. Was she prepared to sort of take that step? But ironically, I read a really good book that sort of changed my mindset a little bit on dealing with things. And it sort of came out and said it, and she felt the same way. It was fantastic. So if you see her in the chat, Lissy Lou.
She was quite strongly religious as well.
Well, she was. We were actually the only two. So I come from a non-religious family, and she comes from a non-religious family. So we weren't raised with it, but we were both born again converts, and we met in a church. And we met at a pub and discovered we went to the same church. And then it kind of just sort of spiraled from there. We got married pretty quick, and
You had a lot in common.
Yeah, it was funny when we first met. The girls in what's called we used to have what was called cell groups, where it was like a small groups where you'd meet. Yeah, you know what that is, don't you, Sam? The old
I've
cell
heard that
group.
rule so long.
Is that something that you do in prison?
No, it's a terrorist.
Oh.
No.
Well, they
Terrorist
actually, a lot
program.
of churches changed it from cell group after.
I
you
can
know,
imagine.
the sort of,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like a small group. So, it's, it might be sort of 10 or so, or a maximum of 10 that'll catch up midweek and sort of, talk Jesus and life and stuff like that, and sort of like a support group. But yeah, so the girls in her cell group all warned her, be careful because it's if you take things too far, he's going to lead you away from Christ. And the irony is that they were right. But and the funny thing is, this is while I was in leadership and a member of the worship team. So I wasn't one of the bad guys at the church, but no, they said no, it's all happening a bit too quick for you, Melissa, and she's getting mentored by girls who are like 3 and 4 years younger than her. So, but
for a certain period of time, you must have been out there preaching God and Jesus.
Oh
but
hell yeah.
in your mind, totally doubting the whole thing. Like that must have been really, really tough.
No, I wouldn't say. I did back off slowly. I guess as the doubt started to creep in, my involvement went back. It wasn't just sort of one day I woke up and went, shit, I'm an atheist. It was a gradual process where there was probably a point where I went, you know what, I think I'm an atheist, and I think I have been for a little bit without sort of realizing it. But no, look, I was very evangelical. I was very much, into apologetics. Part of the reason that I became an atheist, ironically, was because I was doing theology and ministry, because yes, the plan was that I was going to go into church leadership, but I mean, I could have just done the easy path on that and just sort of gone through the church program. I actually wanted to be able to defend the faith and defend the faith well, because that was, I was big on going out and having conversations with people from other religions and sorry, excuse me, and trying to bring people to God. And I did that. I did that with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I converted to Christianity. And that's part of the reason I do what I do, because in my mind, I've got amends to make. I led people down that path, and there's a lot of guilt for me for doing that. So, and if it looks like my eyes are watering, it's not because I'm tearing up over this. I just had a real bad cough then, and something was caught in the throat, but it was a bit of a tough one. But I don't know if I haven't seen her in the chat for a little bit, but Lissy Lou, if you're there, you can probably I guess add to that conversation. Lissy Lou, if you see her in the chat, is actually my wife. She's out working at the moment, so she can occasionally duck in and say hello. But
I had a feeling Lissy Lou was your wife, actually. When I saw
that's
her.
her.
Okay. There you go.
Either that or I'm flirting with another woman. So we'll leave all the flirting to Jen.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm allowed to flirt. It's perfectly normal.
You can do whatever you want.
There's no judgment.
There's no people judging anybody here.
Because I'm mostly muting in between, so you don't get too much noise.
That's fine. It's not too loud
That's
from the
all good.
background. So.
Oh, it is at times.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, actually, because it's the Mandalorian, I don't want any spoilers.
Mandalorian's over. You're watching The Witcher now, aren't you, Steve? Yeah, The Witcher.
Oh, has Witcher started?
Is it on Netflix now?
Started
Oh, hang
today.
on.
I wish I cared. I'm just kidding.
That's why I've only got 6 people on the stream.
I love it. I wish I could.
Oh, look, I'm a complete nerd, so all that kind of stuff is right up my alley.
Well, clearly, I've got a very particular type of nerdhood.
Star Wars now.
Sorry?
Yeah, I see Star Wars.
How many times have you seen Star Wars now?
The new
Up to
one?
2, isn't it?
I'm at two times, yeah.
Sure.
Only twice, yeah. Although myself and Lissy were saying today, the discussion did happen where we both said, might go see Star Wars again. So there's
Well, it's
probably a
hot.
good
And it's
chance
air
that-
conditioned in there, so.
It's really that good, Chris. It is.
You saw it? You liked it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, it's the more and more I think about it, and a few people I've spoken to have a very different viewpoint to me, which that's unusual in my life. I actually think I think it's the best one that they've made. It's better than The Empire Strikes Back. There you go.
I'm envious that you can see a movie that you feel that way about.
Yeah, it was. Towards the end of the movie, I actually had tears, not from coughing, but tears because there was such an emotional thing that I'd just seen a real Star Wars, and it was something I'd been waiting for.
A lot of fan wank, so
I missed everything you said there.
I said a lot of
Fan
people.
wank.
It's just a lot of fan wank.
Oh, there was certainly some cool moments for the fans, but it was the movie itself. The story was good.
Wank.
Hey, it doesn't have to be Dostoevsky. It's a movie, right? It's there for fun.
So I've just muted Jen's mic, everyone. So
Good decision. Good decision.
oh, there we go.
Getting
Oh,
comfortable
you're
with
back.
those
It's
tools,
all
I
right.
see.
It's all right. Well, I mean, if you have a look behind me, you kind of get a bit of an idea of some of the things I'm into. So lots of nerd back there. So in fact, it's pretty much all nerd and history. That's my life, and politics. A few political books that people probably can't make out what they are. So that's probably a good thing, I guess. It might be a few that might upset people, but that's all right. There's no Donald Trump there, so we're all good.
That's definitely
And,
a bonus.
And Critical Cripple, you can't leave, mate. You're hooked. We've got you here. You're stuck. You're with us. You're one of us. So you'll just have to listen to all the nerd stuff.
Given that he's one of us, why doesn't he hop in?
Yeah, it's actually I'll flick you the link, Dave. It's if you want to come and have a chat. Bear with me. I'll send you the link now. Good point there, Jen. My entire chat with oh, hang on, I've just sent you the wrong link. That was really handy. Oh dear.
Sorry, that's my peck, Alan.
professionalism coming through again, mate.
Sorry, I missed that.
So that's
Talking about you, not to you.
Oh, I'm used to that.
professionalism.
I
coming.
can't. Look, I think it's fair to say that if there's one thing that I am completely lacking, it's ability, skills, and professionalism. I am completely winging this, but I guess it was different back in the old church days. What used to happen was I had a whole production team who'd be we had sound guys, we had audio guys, we had visual guys. We had people doing the lighting. I've got to do all this on my own now, so it's I don't know. Maybe I should get back into the church.
Go
Get them
find
to
a
do it all
producer.
for me. Yeah.
Find
Well,
someone
funnily
else,
enough,
Oscar.
one of the really good audio guys has not long ago come out that I used to go to church with, and I actually dragged him along to church. He's actually come out as an atheist, so I'm kind of a little bit proud at the moment. I finally got him there. I think I spoke about him on another stream. He was my friend who he was an atheist, but he didn't want to come out as an atheist because he thought that you had to change your political point of view and I guess jump right over to the far left. And sort of said to him a few times, man, no, you can be on the right and be an atheist. It's everyone's we're a broad church. And that's something actually it is. Because I'm pretty open about where I sit politically, and one thing I've noticed is I haven't had any pushback. No one sort of decided that they don't want to talk. It's been a very supportive community because I think it's just one of those things that I think people who are atheists, because they understand critical thinking and people can have different viewpoints, and probably it's religious viewpoints are worse. It's actually been a very, very interesting journey from that aspect for me. So I don't know if any of you guys, I think I'm probably the only one who veers towards the centre right here, but I guess that's just a bit of commentary.
I don't identify specifically, but that's mostly out of willful ignorance. Because I to say you're left, to say you're right, to me, that comes with a whole lot of baggage of what that means to another person, and that may not be what I believe. So chances are, if I did a quiz on, where you sit on the political spectrum, it's going to come out to the left. But that might not mean to me what it means to someone else on certain issues. And there was an interesting point, particularly with the, God, where are we talking about politics again? But we talk about
Because we can't help it.
In the US, the Democratic voters, they struggle because they don't unite behind a single person because their interests are so diverse that they can't get a single candidate that they all agree with enough to actually get them across the line. Whereas the right, for whatever reason, their interests kind of have a focal point that the left lacks. And that's why they can bring more votes.
Yeah, they're totally united in capitalism and exploiting the planet.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
the left is a little bit more Yeah,
And I don't know if that's right, but that's something I've heard recently, and I thought that's an interesting point. I wonder if that's true. Like, I think probably an easy way to point at that as maybe being accurate is environmental issues. That can be a killer vote for someone if the environmental policy isn't what they agree with, but they're left in every other way, and that's gonna anyway.
But then the
Actually,
environment.
I'll let you guys in on a little secret on politics and in the environment. Both it's actually a bipartisan approach that gets taken, but what we find it's people who are more likely to vote centre right don't care about it, so the centre right parties won't talk about it as much, whereas it goes the other way on the left. But interestingly enough, if you actually have a look at both of the major parties' environmental policies, they're pretty much the same amount of funding. It's pretty much of a muchness. Something I'm going to do here, actually, and this might surprise a few people. And I said I didn't want to talk politics, but I'm just going to say something and get something off my chest. I can't help myself. Scott Morrison. I think
I won't say it.
I think people know that I tend to be fairly. I'm very pro ScoMo generally. I know him and like him, which helps, and politically I align with him. He fucked up this week. He absolutely fucked up this week.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
I mean,
he shouldn't have taken that trip.
Yep.
He's of his entire time. He's definitely one of his biggest fuck ups of his entire time as being leader.
Yeah,
It's something I was actually talking to my wife about, just before the stream. And
Gays back before the last election weren't particularly great, but I think in a sense this is worse because it's actually going to hit his. It's going to affect the party more because people on the right are pissed about it.
I think he'll get a rap over the knuckles and learn his lesson. Look, I feel sorry for politicians on all sides because having sort of spoken with and worked with politicians on both sides, I see how much work they actually do, and I think they cop a lot of criticism for a lot of things, but they do actually put a lot of work in. Now, I guess in Scott's case,
I think rather than individual politicians, I think the system makes them become what they are.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I'm sure they are well intentioned to begin with, and they get drawn into the game of politics.
Yeah, and look, I think unfortunately it's one of those things that a lot of them have to play. I think there's a lot who are, and I say this on both sides. And actually, Art, I'll let you in on a few little things when we're not online. A few things that'll probably make you laugh. But there's a few politicians on both sides who are complete douchebags. And there's politicians on both sides who are really good. And Jen, you're talking a bit on mute there.
I'm sure there is. They're just people.
I was just agreeing with you. I wasn't really saying anything important.
Oh, that's all right then. But what with Scott in particular, he's got a young family, and look, I think like anyone, he is entitled to have holidays, and certainly it's the pressure that the job of Prime Minister would put on his family would be immense. But I think you've got to be very, very smart about. Yeah, I think he really screwed up. And look, he's come out and apologised, and I guess I'll credit to him there. But and also credit
for the offence, not for his actions, though.
How could you be so
I haven't read the apology. That's just how I heard it.
Why would you do it in the first place? To me, an apology is not like he's the leader of our country, and he does that. Australia's on fire, and he goes to Hawaii. What a stupid thing!
Yeah.
Funny enough, it wasn't in Hawaii, but I think it was a bad call.
I heard it was Hawaii. Maybe it was just one of my.
Oh no! He was meant to be in Hawaii, but he snuck to New York. So that's another story.
But he started a bigger fuck up. Well, an equally big fuck up when he started talking about the volunteer firefighters. You go, no, they love what they're doing. We don't need to help them out. What the hell?
That's because that would be a state funding issue anyway. It's not actually a federal funding.
Yeah, but
with the RFS.
That's irrelevant, really, when you're looking at the degree of fires that we have now. He was rather irresponsible to talk like that.
Probably didn't come across the best. Yeah, I understand what he was saying, and from a realistic point of view, yeah, it is a state issue, but it's also something that if they then do that, I mean, they're going to get taxed at ridiculous amounts of money anyway, because for a lot of them it'll be a second job. So, But there probably does need to be something, I think, where emergencies are on.
About supplying them with the things that they needed. So
Oh,
yeah,
they're pretty well supplied.
no, there was actual issues with supplies for them. So
No,
yeah,
I think what that was they were saying that there'd been cuts to the fire services, which technically they had, but that's because there was new headquarters and a lot of infrastructure was bought last year. But the actual spend on the running of the RFS and the fire services actually increased. But it's just, it's and this is a great lesson in politics and media. It depends who's reporting it, how they report it. It's probably what you were saying before, Art. I think that if you look at the mainstream media, they report what they want to report, but then you find the smaller and on both sides that will probably give you a bit more of.
Regardless of that, he's a public figure. He knows how to talk to the media. He should know how spin's going to be done on something.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Incredibly badly.
Okay, short answer is a firefighter can be called back from leave for a national emergency. Prime Minister, sorry, you got to lead by example. You got to be back here. It's the worst fires Australia has ever seen over a long period. The amount of benefits he will get as a prime minister after he finishes his term, like go on holidays then. I mean, great, go on holidays while you're prime minister. That's fine. But when there's a national emergency, you've got to be here. Like, this is your job.
I agree.
Get are fucking ridiculous anyway.
Yeah. Hey, remember how I said it? Remember how I said at the start I wouldn't talk politics?
Yes or no?
Remember I said I wouldn't? Yeah. I did that to myself, didn't I?
That's
okay.
But you've got to agree.
Here's a classic example. Here's a classic example of people from different sides of the political spectrum who can have a genuine, honest conversation, agree on some things, disagree on others, but kind of get on and still be civil with each other. So I think there's a lesson
to conversation. Absolutely, doesn't matter. I'd have to say I'm very, very left. I'd have to say I'm very left. You're saying.
I thought you were a hardcore conservative with the whole Bernie Sanders thing.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
No MAGA hats.
No MAGA hats, mate.
The amount of meal allowance that politicians get, and it's over $100 a day meal allowance.
Politicians get paid. They get paid bugger all for the job they do. No, the politicians are grossly underpaid.
Oh, bullshit!
Grossly underpaid. Okay, all right. The head of Australia Post. The head of Australia Post. Okay, who is a senior bureaucrat. What do you think they get paid?
Oh, more than a politician, but that's the same in every country.
$5 million a year. $5 million a year.
Yeah.
So
your point being,
politicians are underpaid.
No.
Which is something that's unpopular to say. I think politicians, and you know what? Because if politicians were paid more, we'd get a better quality of politician.
Politicians are not given their positions on merit.
Yeah.
No,
not always. Not always.
The Australian people are the ones that are interviewing them for the job, and the Australian people don't necessarily know what it takes to be good at the job. I'm not saying that as I'm not saying that democracy is bad, but I'm saying we need to recognise that it's a different mechanism.
But what you got to remember in most seats. Sorry, was I talking over you then, Jen?
That's right.
Okay. What I was going to say is in most Australian seats. Okay, so and this doesn't dox me in any way. I live in a very safe Labor seat. So realistically, that's not going to change anytime soon, or I hope it does. But that's the reality of where I live. So the thing is, do the people really decide in my seat who gets elected? No. The Labor Party decides in my seat who they're putting up. So in the safer seats, the competition is very different for the party that's safe as opposed to the party that's not. You get some.
Do the party actually bring in the best people to be politicians? Isn't it
not in my seat? No.
I mean, honestly,
in some cases, yes, they do.
It's jobs for the boys.
No, look, in a lot of cases, there is the jobs for the boys, jobs for the girls thing, and it's about who's connected with who. But there's also you will find there's times like you'll get a high quality candidate, I guess, or parachuted in because there's someone who is seen as someone who's talented. I guess is the political speak for it.
it does happen, but I don't think it happens often enough to justify saying that they should be paid the same as somebody in industry who has to perform to a certain level to maintain their job.
Well, I can tell you, I could go and sell real estate and earn more money than the Prime Minister.
And that's
out after 3 years, but we can't sack them.
That's fine for me as well, because the thing is, it's the taxpayers that are paying for the politicians. You increase politician wages, you increase taxes. To me, there's an issue as well with money being a motivator for someone to go into that profession. It shouldn't attract people because of the high salary. It should attract people because of what they can do, what they're passionate about,
policies and their beliefs.
And that's tough, because I'll go and look at.
I mean, when you're getting, I think it was $180 a day meal allowance. Come on, they do actually have a reasonable pay underneath that. I don't see this as being reasonable.
Plus,
their pay.
That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard for living away from home allowances in business in general as well.
Yeah, their pay as well comes mostly from their opportunities after office, where they get to go into lobby groups and they can find actual really high paying jobs as a result of their public service. So I think that
the banks, they all end up in the banks.
No. That's because they're bankers.
And that's fine, because yes, the people aren't paying a high wage, but the result of that, they actually get a really good economic advantage, and I think that's fair. So
yeah, no, that's a fair call. I can't argue with that.
Although Billy Connolly, I think, put it better. I love Billy Connolly's point about being in politics. The desire to become a politician should permanently ban you from ever being one.
And you know what? There's some people who.
King of the
what
bean
you'll
test.
see is that they go to, if they're in the Liberal Party, they go to university, do the law degree or the commerce degree, then they go and work for the politician as a staffer. They start as the volunteer, then they get the full-time job, and they go through the process, and then their whole goal is to basically get themselves put into a safe seat. And with the Labor Party, it's the same thing, except they go through the unions or law degree. So it's and it happens on both sides. But
no, I agree, and this is the problem.
But you will get some good people who really they've got no desire to be in politics, and they have an obligation to, and they're the best ones.
And they're called the Greens.
My personal opinion is.
Oh God, no, not the Greens, not the Greens. Oh no, anyone but the Greens.
Probably the worst sort of politician to be elected.
Yeah.
So somebody
I'd have a limit on terms.
I just want to see someone that fights for the people while coming from a left position again.
He can make a difference.
Now, there's a lot of talking over each other here, and I think it's because we've got a bit of a delay going on. But what were you going to say?
Look, I'd just like to see a politician come in that does actually want to fight for people. And, not corporations. It always does seem to come back to the fact that it's corporations that control politics and the media. I mean, that's logical, isn't it? I mean, we can all observe that. We can all see that. I want to see someone who does actually care about people. And I'm sure that some politicians do come in that way. But, have to play the game and can't win the fight because corporations are in control. I mean, is that right? I think that's right, isn't it?
Here's a hypothetical, and picking on one point, which probably isn't your main point, where you say the media helps control the narrative and what gets done.
Yeah.
I think at the same time, the media is responsive to clicks and to like eyeballs and who's paying attention and what is getting read. And I think it's the people that are controlling the media in terms of what is being amplified. So while I'm like, yeah, corporations are a good example where I think they have got way too much sway in affecting the lack of climate change policy that we get. In terms of some of the other things, I think people are, maybe the uncomfortable reality is that there are more people that want things that are more conservative than what we are happy with. Maybe not all of us, maybe some of us, maybe it depends on the policy or the party. But the media, I think, are a reactive force at the moment than a proactive force in changing people, because they're desperately trying to stay alive in the internet age where people like us can be online and share the news if we want to.
So the media doesn't control the way that those people think. Initially, I'm talking about
this is what's weird, right? Did the 90s did the 90s kickstart that? And then here we are in 2019
Probably
in the
the
digital
80s.
age where, at some point the media did have that control, but then maybe it's kickstarted into the point where now they're desperately trying to keep us looking at them. And so we're actually controlling.
Yeah, there's a big case to say that for a long time, Rupert Murdoch basically controlled the landscape of politics on most of the Western world. The media was in control. You got elected, and parties got power and everything, and you had
not so much.
I only
control,
raise
but
this
just-
as a hypothetical. I don't raise this as this is my held belief. But
Yeah,
I did a
it's all-
communications
all-
degree a couple of years ago, and what it looks like to me with things like YouTube and I guess Twitch and Twitter and stuff is that the discussion that the media is having is following what people are following because they're trying to catch up with what's popular to stay relevant. And so at the moment, I think that's what the media's role is in politics. Corporations, though, that's a different thing. That's lobby groups, that's money, that's pressure.
Well, the media is
That's
a
real
corporation.
power in the background.
The media is a corporation itself.
True.
It's owned by
Absolutely, yeah.
like Rupert Murdoch. So it is a corporation. So it's going to have interests in its success. So it's going to try and sway people's thought processes in that way rather than maybe helping out like everyday people.
Well,
Because
yeah.
it does come back to money, doesn't it? Like, is that
They're-
fair? I'm sure
They're
that's
definitely not acting as the fourth estate. So you think of that the three estates in politics in terms of this division of government. The media is meant to be the fourth estate that, who watches the Watchmen? Well, the media technically. Like you think of things like Watergate, where there's a very significant role the media played in keeping government honest. And that doesn't appear to be happening anymore. Like the media is not doing that.
No.
And that's really unfortunate. But then we've got ways that we can do that as, citizens can do that. Citizen journalism is huge now. Like you look at all the YouTube channels that do daily news and stuff. Well, maybe that's where the role sits now. The other point I'll point out as well is who here pays for news? I don't pay for news. I don't buy newspapers. I don't subscribe to any news channels.
absolutely not. I wouldn't waste my money on it.
But that's it. Who's paying for the media? Not us. So they're not representing us. So
No. Yeah, okay, that's a good.
Well, I notice a difference in quality between, I guess, media reporting that's behind a paywall. So, all right. So I subscribe to the Australian. So that and I get a very good student rate on it. So because I'm still a student technically, but the different things.
my thoughts on the Australian because they've
I
got
can imagine.
anti-LGBT section.
Oh, there's actually been a lot of pro-LGBT
Oh,
stuff.
no, there hasn't. There was actually a survey done on it.
Yeah.
Over the last 12 months. They've had 3 pro-LGBT articles and 150 anti ones.
I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, that includes what they do on their website as well, not just in the paper.
Really?
I'm just trying to think. Catherine, hang on 1 second. I'm stuck on a name.
Oh, that's been on
Catherine,
Twitter today.
Kate McGregor.
I might be overstating it.
I'm pretty sure Kate McGregor's a columnist for the Australian now. So do you know Kate McGregor or who Kate McGregor is, or?
I know Kate McKinnon.
Yeah. So Kate McGregor, former army general who is a trans woman after the army career finished, but I guess a bit of an anomaly. So I guess a bit of a kindred spirit for me because she's a trans woman who's on the right of politics. So it's actually someone I actually find fairly inspirational because it was someone who sort of said that no, you don't need to go down a certain political persuasion if just because of who you are. So, but anyway, it's
exception to the rule though, wouldn't she? Like,
there's others like Blair White who are out there and
be more conservative.
Sorry, that took me about Blair White.
not a fan.
No, Blair White's a sellout. She actually doesn't care about trans issues at all. She just cares about clicks and views and making money off the internet.
That's half of YouTube, I think.
More than half.
Yes, but she is quite prepared to sell out any trans person to do it.
So now that I've just said that, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click the link and hit the notification bell just to do all that wonderful kind of stuff.
Brilliant segue.
All right. So I'm going to drop politics here now because otherwise we'll be on politics and drinking. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I always say that, and for me that means when I say we're not going to talk about politics, it means we're only going to talk about politics for half an hour.
We're going to find a segue from the other topic to get back to you.
Then we'll segue
and I suppose mostly because of climate change, that is the biggest issue. So I guess really we need to talk about politics for that reason. You know, I mean, it should come up all the time. It's the biggest issue. If we don't get that sorted, everything else is irrelevant. The LGBT.
I hate the fact that it's a debate.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a debate. Humanity should.
It's the rest of the debate than you think.
Yeah, well,
I know. How much do you think the Australian government spent on climate change last year? On renewable energy, on renewable technologies last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't know those numbers.
Yeah.
I feel as though it's not enough. I feel as though enough is not enough because you're talking potentially catastrophic events in the future.
There's reductions to how we
not take any chances with it. You know.
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, so Australia's got approximately about $500 billion GDP. So we spent 11 billion. So it's around about, I think that works out to, maths is not my strong point, about 2% of the GDP is spent on particularly renewable technologies, and that was pretty much bipartisan. So the Labor Party, the Liberal Party were both kind of prepared to spend the same amount. It's how I think the message gets told.
It should be like that.
They do. It's you would be amazed how many things. I think it's something like 97% of parliamentary votes are virtually unanimous, or it's Labor and Liberal, and it's the Greens might kick up a stink every now and then if they just want to be different. But it's the majority of stuff. It's what you see in Question Time. That's all theatrics. That's absolute theatre. It's I know politicians who they joke with each other. Oh, when are you going to ask me a question? Oh, we've got a good one coming for you today. So
I hate the theatre. Let's get serious, politicians. I hate the theatre.
But it's the media that drives it. It's the media and the Australian public as consumers.
Exactly. So why the Australian? If the Australian public just switch off and say, guys, this is bullshit. I don't want to watch this. Talk to me and give me some serious stuff. But the Australian
most people don't care. Most people don't care. That's the problem. Look, and here's something interesting. I think it's fair to say that you and I would have voted for different people, but we're both politically engaged. We both want the best for the country. We've just probably got a different idea on the path to get there, and that's okay. Because and you need a balance. You need people with different opinions because not everything on the right side of politics is the best way to go, and not everything on the left side of politics is the best way to go. There's bits and pieces from both, and it's when everyone can work together that it tends to work out well. And if you look at the major parties, they're pretty much the same. Sorry, Jen.
Let's start a new midstream party.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's see if we can get Clive Palmer involved.
Oh no, fuck that. If there was ever a politician who was just in it for himself, that's Clive Palmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time. Clive was all smoke and mirrors. He was. It was all about what was best for Clive. So it's.
But I mean,
on Clive.
I realise the majority of the Liberals and the Labor Party are centrists.
Yeah,
there's not much difference between the two parties.
A centrist party that is just that.
Well, the Liberal and the Labor Party are basically that now. But the problem is it doesn't. But the thing is, there was the Democrats. But the problem is, most people don't care enough about politics in Australia to actually be prepared to make that change. It's people. I know people who are probably some of the most left-leaning people I know, but they're going to vote the Liberals in because they've always voted Liberal. Their parents voted Liberal, and vice versa. I know people who are virtually, they're to the right of Cory Bernardi, and they're voting Labor. So because it's what they do, and it's very tribal in that aspect. So the sad reality is there's zero chance of a an opportunity for a smaller party, because there's probably about 20% in the middle that will go to the other parties and swing the vote. But realistically,
we got a friend who a couple of years ago was like, I'm not going to vote the Liberal Party. They're a load of crap. I'm going to vote National. You might as well just vote for the Liberal Party. What's the point?
Don't get me started on the Nationals.
Understand politics in this country at all.
But most people don't. Most people don't care. It's frustrating when you're politically engaged, because, I'm sure you guys would be the same. You have conversations with people and you just want to, we've lost Art. We're getting too political for him.
Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah.
He realised he was in with a right winger, so no, that's all right. It's Art. You've got the link. When you come back, mate. It's all good. Although we probably will wrap it up pretty soon.
I mean, if we're going to be honest here, if we were going to compare my politics to your politics, Chris, you and I probably have more in common with our version of politics than we do with you with the radical right of the Liberal Party and me with the far left of the Labor Party.
Yeah, absolutely, we would. Yeah,
because we're both centrist, but off on the side. But I'm to the left and you're to the right, and sorry about the noise.
It's all right.
Okay, interesting. No, and that's a reality. It's most people do agree on 90% of things. There's just a couple of methods. I guess the big government versus small government. A few different things. But anyway, politics. We'll end it there. Let's talk about cheesecakes.
What's everyone getting for Christmas?
Mara wants a cheesecake.
This is a little segment I did want to do. I guess just to round things off. So we might do this now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say someone's name, and I want to know what you think we should get them for Christmas. What we as the atheist community, as representatives of the Australian atheist community, can get them for Christmas. So I'll throw a few names out there and let me know what you think. And we'll start with. Hang on, I think we've got him back. Art, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can
got you, mate. And you know what? It's bloody good timing.
Yeah, I dropped out this this computer that I'm using because I was on your show last week, was it? And I was using a newer computer, but it doesn't have a camera in it. This computer here has a potential to crash because it's older, but it is actually a better computer. It's got the camera and everything, but it tends to freeze and restart for no reason. So,
computers, they're good. No, that's right. Well, what I was just explaining to everyone is just to round things off, we're going to play a little game where I'm going to mention a name, and I just want to get an idea of what you think that we as the atheist community should get that person for Christmas. So I'm going to start with a really easy one. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right. Navadia.
A couple of cheesecakes.
A snake cozy.
Snake cozy, couple of cheesecakes. What do you think, Art? What do we get in Navadia?
I really don't know. I'm bad at these games. I don't know. I need time to sit back and think about that. I don't know. I don't want to blurt anything. What's the beer that she drinks?
Oh, Wakatani or something. Yeah.
Yeah. A case of that. A case of that.
Too easy. All right. Kent Hovind. What are we going to get Kent Hovind for Christmas?
The first thing that came in my head, honestly, was a science book, but I know that's frivolous and pointless.
I'd
wouldn't
say
read it.
They might not be able to find anything.
Yeah.
A picture science book.
I was thinking of just putting a couple of dollars in his commissary for next time he goes back into jail, but
some cigarettes to trade.
A 24-pack of Navadia's favorite beer.
But like wrapped in a condom so he can smuggle it in.
Like so he can get himself ready for his next trip back into jail.
Yeah, that's it.
Training plug.
Right. Anthony Albanese.
Trying to get the camera happening.
What does Anthony Albanese want for Christmas?
Probably a dummy.
I'm going to plead ignorance.
I'm not too familiar.
No, all good.
I'm just trying to get my camera going. Sorry.
You know who Anthony Albanese is?
No.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Or
I might know who he is, but I'm bad with names.
The leader of
tell
the
me who-
opposition, leader of the Labor
right,
Party.
yes,
Labour
right,
Party leader.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah no,
Wow.
dummy.
ScoMo,
Look, no.
well,
Yeah, I mean,
I know
yeah.
people, I don't know names, and that even extends to my workplace.
I was
And I
going to
vote
say
Labour, but I think
a
you
new.
need to dummy.
I was going to say a new camera, so we could actually get in front of one for a change. But
He's-
that'll do.
Well, see, maybe
He's
that's his
out.
problem. Maybe that's why I don't know his name.
There you go. So we'll get him that camera.
I
Okay.
know my local numbers.
And I want to see a few things. Actually, there's a good one. I'm assuming that this is for Kent Hoven. So a good one there, Dave. Now another one of our favourites, and this is a great Australian. So we've got to really put some thought into this one.
Roll
Ken
Farrell.
Ham. What do we get? Ken Ham.
Oh, banana.
A banana.
Full of Gia t-shirt.
A pump so he can get the water out of the ark.
Flood insurance. Flood insurance.
No. Well, yeah, you need it, don't you? It's not like the ark's going to float. So, okay.
Not like an ark ever floated. A ball
See,
gag.
there's a ball gag. See, Dave, why aren't you in here, mate? I mean, you're coming up with all the good ones. It's you know. Well, what
Yeah,
about
he's
Matt Dillahunty? What do you get Matt Dillahunty for Christmas? What do you get the world's most famous atheist?
Yeah.
A razor blade. So he can shave his head and shave his little goatee. Nice,
Don't like the
thoughtful
goatee.
gift. It's personal. No, not shave it off. Like, you've got to trim it and stuff and, like, keep it nice and neat.
Mhm.
You don't just leave it once.
How about a day off? Because I
Dollar
don't
Shave Club.
think he ever stops.
No, he works harder than the Prime Minister.
He picks his days.
Uh,
He does what he loves.
I don't know. I love Matt Dillahunty. Once again, I need time to think about that, but I don't know.
Actually, a day off
he
where he's
doesn't
not
need
connected to the
anything. He's a
internet would
happy
be
guy.
nice for him.
See, I reckon, Art, between you and me, we could make a Dillahunty because, you know, I'm fat with a beard and you're bald. So it's.
I like all this, Matt.
but between us, we've got a Dillahunty. Oh, no, sorry. Matt's. Sorry. That was actually horrible because I'm fat. Matt's not. He's actually looking very good now. He's a lot thinner than he
I
used to be.
straight out of it.
Not fair. Dave's got the perfect gift.
Antique magic trick.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, of course.
Matt's really into new magic.
He's a
tricks
magician.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Orla, Pornhub's free. Not that I'd know, but Pornhub's free. Unless there's something going on I don't know about, in which case I won't let you know later. All right. Well, I think we might wrap it up there, and unless anyone's got anything Christmassy they want to mention or bring up.
I'm on Christmas Day.
Particularly, make sure you're there for if you haven't got anything on at Christmas, make sure you're there for not just streaming them.
Yeah. Check out his link on Twitter. He's got all the details up.
Well, 30 hours, it should be a good one. And I know that I'll throw my hand up for a bit of time if there's a spot there, and I'm sure many of us will. But now, where can everyone find you this week? What's happening? What's going on?
Didn't we already do this?
We did, but not
We're gonna
everyone's been
bookend
watching
it.
for 2 hours. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I don't.
it's me being
know
a professional.
between now and Christmas, but after Christmas, at some point I'll have a video out. You guys will know where I am.
Hey, Dave, how do you know so much about Pornhub?
It's a free website, so you can just jump on whenever you want. It's easy.
Yeah,
Even on mobile.
I stream from here, but I don't think that'd work well for YouTube. So, Sam, this week, no plans, videos. When are we going to see? Do we have a 50 celebration or?
I'm desperate to get a video out. I don't know if I'll celebrate 50. 50 is just like, it's great, but I don't want to be celebrating every 50 sort of thing. I told one of my mates once, and I kind of feel bad about this. He was with his partner at the time, and they celebrated their 6-month anniversary. And I said to him, don't celebrate the 6th month because that means you're not going to make a year. Like you celebrate the big things. And yeah, he wasn't with her in a year's time. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'll probably look towards 100. So trying to get to 100 now. I know some people were throwing out 100 by 2020, which is probably tough, but we'll see. I am off work, so I'm
just get Navadi to retweet it. I think I was stuck at 43 or something like that.
she does a
Navadi
great job
did
retweeting.
She did a retweet, and all of a sudden, I'm going, all right, forget 50. Let's try for 100.
Yeah,
So,
thumbs up.
it'll happen.
Was.
No, yeah, and
I
like
reckon
it's
we
been nice
should
steady
have a
growth. Though.
competition to be the first to get to 200, and then we can have a big celebration when you both get there.
I don't do nearly enough videos to compete with Atheist Pastor. To get you grow on video. Videos create growth.
And in all fairness, I drag you onto all my videos, so it's.
I
it's
wasn't
probably-
going to say anything, but like I'm here
if-
tonight instead of making my next video. So.
if I hit it, I think it's a team effort. So it's,
Yeah.
it's definitely
Like it's a tough
community
choice.
effort.
Like I did think like shit, I need to do a video tonight, but no, I'd rather be on the live stream. It's like I'm here to be part of the community. I'm not here to hit numbers. Although numbers are a great way to keep score, so to speak. So, but yes, I'm on leave from work now. So I've got a few family obligations coming up, but I'm going to try and get some videos in between. I want to try and play with some formats that are not sitting up my desk talking at the computer. Because I've got some nice camera gear that I should be getting out and using, and I'm going to play around and see if it works, because I'm not going to have the nice audio setup I've got here. But yeah, look, follow me.
I thought you were going to say you were going to have a play with yourself.
I wouldn't say that on stream.
We can't,
What
we
are
can't
the
see
odds
what's going on.
90% of men,
Yeah.
isn't that the odds? Like, I mean, come on, we don't have to spell everything out.
I have no idea why
What's
that's
going on
there.
below there?
In all honesty, as many women get themselves off as men do.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it was only men.
A reality.
Probably more. I mean, you
Yeah.
girls have only got one thing on your mind, so
That's not true.
Women love sex, men love sex, everyone loves sex. Well, not everyone. but,
Absolutely.
yeah, most
I mean,
people.
right now I've probably got Nico.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
shush. I'm shilling myself, all right? Just relax, all right? So, at Vagrant Sam on Twitter, Vagrant Sam on Facebook, not Facebook. Don't look for Vagrant Sam on Facebook. You'll find my real name. You won't really. Vagrant Sam on YouTube.
Hang on, I'll just bring that up now.
Yeah, good luck. And yeah, look, hopefully I'll get 1 or 2 videos out. Hopefully one before Christmas and hopefully one before New Year's. And I've got to get into that weekly rhythm. But yeah, if you guys aren't subbed, it'd be great if you did. And if you don't, make sure you sub to Atheist Pastor at least. So that's my plan.
if you sub to me, you're going to see Sam pretty regularly anyway. So
yeah, like it's as
probably
good as
see
being
him as
subbed
much
to
as
me.
see me. Yeah, it's you know.
But I'll
I
also
should
be
probably-
I'll try and be around on that Christmas train as much as possible
He's
too.
fucking
So
amazing. He's the most
And yeah.
talented.
Yeah.
he's the one that's got an actual skill. The rest of us just
Yeah, he's the
talk
one who's
crap.
actually good.
We,
at
we,
it.
we just we just sit around drinking and talking. So yeah, sub to Art. Art.
I appreciate
What
you
is-
saying that, but I don't know how true that is. But anyway,
Hey, we've seen the video with your music. Good stuff.
Yeah, we all know how talented you are. Yeah. We're all just hacks. You're
Anyone
talented.
can do what we do,
I
but it
appreciate it
takes
so
talent
much.
to.
I don't necessarily agree, but I appreciate it anyway.
You're like the leader of our church band. You're like our worship
yeah.
leader. So
Great.
We'll keep telling you until you're indoctrinated.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get
so we get you to play the money, and then so we get you to play the music, and then we'll ask them for money. We just got to work on what songs we get in when. So
absolutely. Well, that sounds like a plan. And plus, you told me that
Hillsong.
you did play music or write songs for the church at one stage.
Well, he's the worship leader, so he can sing. You got to get him
I
on
was
something.
I was a singer, yeah. So no, I'm a singer. I don't know how good I am, but I've won a few karaoke comps. But no, I'm
All right.
I used to sing. I wrote a couple of songs, which was normally just putting music to Bible verses and things like that, and amping them up for whatever the mood was. But yeah, no.
Okay.
I
well,
used to rap. I used to
Video-
rap, so I could drop a sick rhyme. And
we need
I
some
did
rap.
get one of the songs in the group I was in did get played on Triple J, so it wasn't just. It
Oh,
was only played once by a DJ that was doing a guest spot, but national radio. Thank
you
you.
go. Yeah, the Jays.
Mm.
You're one step ahead of me because I haven't been on the Jays, so
Oh, it was only because we knew someone that was on it. So.
it helps. That helps.
We did play at schoolies back in. Actually, no, I won't say what year because then you could probably find who I am.
Yeah. Don't dox yourself.
No, I know I've come close a few times to doxing myself, and I've had to go. Oh, hang on, step back, shut up.
Yeah.
But look, one day I'll probably come out and dox myself, but just not today. But yeah, so I've got a few things going on this week. At this stage, it looks as though I might be debating. We're just trying to confirm times, but I should be on Modern Day Debates tomorrow.
Ooh, who are you
So-
debating?
I believe it's Jake from the Jake and Hugo channel, or it might be Jake and Hannah channel
Oh, so
now.
this
I'm
is
not
a
too.
political debate, not a religious.
Yeah,
Because that's an atheist channel, isn't it?
Yeah. So the topic is, I think, has political correctness gone too far? So I'll be representing the side that says yes, it has, and discussing cancel culture and all those other things that fire us conservatives up. Yeah, I do. I think it's. I think there's certain aspects where political correctness is necessarily, and it should be.
In that case, I have to
included.
ask you, what's your take on J.K. Rowling?
Can we do this maybe next time after he's done the debate and we can like chat about it in depth?
Okay, yeah. I'll leave it where it is because this may come up in the debate.
Because it would be interesting to see how the debate goes.
She was a little out
maybe
of
do a
line.
debrief.
J.K. Rowling was out of
A
line.
little.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. No, she was
I'm
out.
going to reserve my judgment because it's something I am going to look into because I don't know enough about it to comment on it.
True enough.
I
I
know-
only heard
Give the
today.
background if you need it, Chris. Because I've actually read some of the court findings and stuff. So
Okay, yeah. So I guess look from my point of view, I do laugh at the left eating itself, but yeah, I don't know enough about. I would imagine it will come up tomorrow. I'm look. It may be a case of that's not far enough, or it could be too far. I don't know.
the thing I find funniest about it, though, is that when she brought out the Harry Potter novels, the religious right was so down on her because she was making novels about magic and witchcraft and wizardry for teenagers. But now that she's
they
been
did the
called
same with
out as
Dungeons
being
and
a
Dragons.
TERF, it's the religious right that are defending her.
Yeah, see that's an irony because it's J.K. Rowling is she's not a friend of the right side of politics. So
Oh, no,
I think
but
that's
she's a
just people
TERF.
taking advantage.
Oh, she's definitely a TERF, though. She's been TERFy for a very long time. She just showed her hand, that's all.
Trans
I actually don't- I don't- I don't know
radical
what that
feminist.
Oh, you don't know
okay, yeah.
trans
Okay,
exclusion
yeah,
radical
cool.
feminist.
Yep.
But she's also been, despite saying that in her head canon that Dumbledore was gay, she's also come out with anti-gay stuff in the past and things like that. She's done a lot of little things like that in the past, but this is the biggest one where she's actually come up in total support of somebody who is a self-professed TERF. So, yeah, she's sort of outed herself completely now.
Yeah. I don't know enough about it to comment on it. It's from the sounds of it, I'm probably going to disagree with her on this one because I'm very pro LGBT.
Supported, had a job in a media outlet where she was working with a large group of people. And this media outlet was progressive, so there were trans people who worked in the outlet and everything like that. And this person was a TERF, a gender critical person anyway. That's fine. They were fine with her having those politics as long as she kept them away from work. But she brought them to work and started being a bitch basically to trans people and other people who worked within the company.
So a bit of an Izzy Folau situation.
Yeah, an easy filler. But they didn't actually sack her. Her contract came up for renewal and they chose the option not to renew it. So she was not sacked. And she tried to take it to the tribunal, and the tribunal basically came down and was, well, hang on, they had every right to get rid of you because you didn't fit in with their policies and you are a bigot. So, yeah, there is no defending this. She wasn't sacked. She just never had a contract renewed. And it's just... And she is definitely a bigot. So, and
yeah, I'll definitely be reading a bit on it. So
yeah,
it's I believe it's 11 o'clock is when we've got it penciled in for tomorrow. So it's quite literally about 12 hours from now, which is good. You know, I get to have some sleep, and then I've got to go to. I've got a really nice place by the beach I'm going to for a family lunch tomorrow. So I'll probably be an hour late to that, but I can live with that. So. But apart from that, I will get on the Christmas stream at some point, and the aim is to still have one of these next Friday night at the very least, and hopefully a few other things. I know I've had a chat with Sam about there's our friend Dr. Kyle Bailey's put out another video, and it's really good. It's really good. So I'd love to comment about that. So yeah, and hello, KC. You've come in right at the end, but welcome. So yeah, so that's I think we might wrap it up there. And like I said before, like, share, subscribe. You can find me at atheist_pastor. As I always say, if you are someone who is struggling to get out of religion, or you've just gotten out of religion and you need support, please get in touch with me. Or even if you're someone who is a hardcore Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever religion you follow, and you want to try and convert me, hey, send me a message. I'll, just like I did for an hour with my doctor today, I'll have the conversation. So, and
having people like you there is really important. I think what everybody does here is really important. It's street level, and there's people that maybe don't have access to the people like yourselves that talk about the things that you do and come from a position that you do. And I really think that you all do a great job. What you're doing, Chris, is excellent, mate. And you're an excellent host on this show too.
Actually, I'd love you to be a debate moderator as well, Chris. If we ever found other people within Australia we could debate against and stuff like that, your channel would be awesome for it.
Yeah, and look, I've sort of had thoughts that might be something at some point where we can have those conversations, and I just think I think it's important within the atheist community that we've got to be able to have open conversations. I think we need to be able to discuss things and probably get. Yeah, it's get the point of view out, and I guess that's part of the reason why I didn't want to go down a political path with some of my content. But I think it's important for people who do sit on my side of politics to know that being an atheist doesn't mean that you've automatically got to just subscribe to the far left. Because I know on places like Facebook and things like that, basically it's just political. It's, no offense to anyone here, it's left wing political love fests, and for someone who's coming out of religion, a lot of the times they will have some conservative views, and it can be fairly confronting. And actually, something else that I do want to do is I'm actually going to do a series on, I guess, understanding a lot of the issues that people wouldn't have understood when they were in church. That you got to wrap your head around, and something like trans issues is actually something that I do want to do a video on and talk to people in that community, because for someone who's coming out of religion, their view on what it is to be trans is probably going to be something that's fairly skewed, and there's not going to be a lot of understanding, and I guess understanding that
high school biology.
Yeah, it's for people who are coming into the community. It can be a little bit, it's something that I know I wanted to understand when I got out of religion, because I didn't understand it, and for me it was well hang on, it doesn't make sense. And you'd see things like Caitlyn Jenner and where it was really sort of pushed, and you'd hear the big political movements. But then I guess it's, and funnily enough, you mentioned Blair White before, but I actually watched a few Blair White videos, and that sort of started to get me on the path of, okay, I'm starting to understand this, and then having conversations with people who are actually in the community, which I never did before, and it gave me a different perspective, and not because I ever had a perspective out of ignorance or hate. It was just
people seem to think.
It was out of ignorance because I didn't understand.
People think there's one big movement, and there isn't. There's just lots of individuals with lots of different takes on issues.
Absolutely,
there is certainly a background in the science and how trans people become more understood by the science over time. But there is no this concept that a lot of religious right get, given that there's this big trans movement. There isn't. There are trans people wanting to have rights,
and as they should, yeah.
But there is no big trans movement. There are a few trans voices that are fucking idiots, but there's no difference
like anywhere.
Anything. And
I think being able to understand that discussion though is important, because you come out of fundamental religion, you don't even understand the language, and that's, I think, what is valuable to someone coming out, is being able to learn how to pass all that information.
There are quite a few of us who are very centrist who would be really good to have on a discussion panel if you wanted to.
And that's things that I'm going to start to do. And even it's like I remember when I was in religion, it was one thing that was always pushed was it's people choose to be gay, which I know is complete rubbish. And I was never comfortable with that. But I know a lot of people who have come out and have struggled to move away from a lot of those viewpoints, and it's just because of a lack of understanding
and indoctrination.
Absolutely, and indoctrination is not something you can just turn off. So I think it's important to have these conversations because I mean, look, the whole purpose behind what I'm doing is, like I said, it's a little bit of guilt for me, because I did used to lead people to religion, and now I want to be there as a bit of a support network for, it's just not even a network, but I just want to be there for people who are in a position where they're wanting to get out of religion. They're not too sure. They're worried about being ostracized by their community. I guess they want to be able to talk to someone who's been where they are. And that's
it's a
why.
unique position. Like, I mean, obviously Matt Dillahunty is I guess he's the epitome of that, because that's his story is very similar to you. So he's got a massive audience, but I mean, what you do is, street level, and it's speaking to people, I don't know, on that level that can get close to you. Matt Dillahunty is probably a little less accessible than what you are, but essentially you're the same as what he is.
Well, anyone who messages me, I will message you back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen? Sorry, Jen, what you were saying
Sorry,
something? Or?
It's one of us. I honestly think if you're somebody coming out of religion, the best people for you to speak to is someone who's a moderate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I mean, you may end up further to the left.
Yeah.
But that's fine if
ultimately,
you get
but you got to grow in that direction.
You're not going to come out of that mindset by talking to somebody who's far left, because that level of challenge you are not ready for.
Could scare them off.
No.
Yeah, so you have to be.
I think even having tips for people, because I think a lot of people get out of religion and into atheism, and they want to become Matt Dillahunty. They want to go and fight with everyone and argue with everyone, and they're going to go and tell all their friends and family why they're wrong. And I know I did a little bit of that. And there's a lot of mistakes. So I think we almost need a step-by-step guide into, one of those, hi, you're watching this because you've chosen to leave religion. Here's step one, and we're going to guide you through this process. You almost need something like that.
Step one is to admit there's no higher power. Step two is to ask for forgiveness from everyone you've wronged. Step three...
And on and on.
Yeah. I wasn't going down that path, but I do see the parallel there. Yes.
Hey, it's satire.
All right, guys. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live stream there. Thank you to everyone who's been here the whole time.
Hey, everyone.
Critical Cripple Dave. He's always the first one to comment every time anything comes up. He always sends me a wolf. So
you should be more careful, or you'll end up choking on a selfie stick.
So I'm just going to. In the live chat, this is for you. There you go, Dave. A big wolf back at you. So thank you very much, everyone who has listened. And thank you to people who in the future who have sat through 2 hours of this. If you've done that, wow, get a life. I mean, we're not...
I didn't even get drunk. So
joking. Keep coming. Keep it coming. So, and look, anyone who's got any ideas or any feedback they want to give the channel, please do, because I'm not someone who's afraid of criticism, or I'd like to know how I can make this better. I'd like to know how I can make it a better channel for people. How we can reach people. Obviously, people keep telling me just keep bringing more Jen, more Sam, more Art. So I'll just keep bringing those guys on. And yes, we will make sure that next week, if we can all chip in, I'll set up a Patreon account so we can chip in to make sure Jen's got a full bottle next week, because it's always more entertaining when Jen's got a full bottle. So.
We drove today and I didn't go to a bottle shop, that's all. And I thought I had more than what I did. So there's actually more alcohol here. I could have stolen some from Stacey.
Oh, the night's young for you.
There's some Jim Beam there.
Yeah, still got plenty of time.
I'm probably not back anymore. I'm too tired.
Well, it's not even 9 o'clock where you are, so
Getting there.
yeah. All right, everyone. So as I said, I'll put the links down below where you can find these guys. Make sure you subscribe to their channels. You probably already are, but if you haven't, please make sure you do. Like I said, if you need to get in touch, please send me a tweet. Is probably easy at @atheist_pastor, and we'll catch you all later. Thank you very much. See you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.